And the president's announcement today will surely be talked about for the days and weeks ahead. And we want to break down the legal ramifications of today's events. Here now is attorney Jay Davis to talk about that. So Jay, we watched the president's address today. Some people say that he's overstepping his authority. Others say that he's on the right track. But does this mean, I didn't really get from the address when I was watching it, does this mean if an assault weapons ban is issued, that people are going to have to actually give up those weapons if they have them?
Well, that depends on what the ban says. So far, Congress hasn't done anything. We're not hearing anything from the Republicans of the House. Harry Reid in the Senate is not saying the Democrats are going to do anything either. So we're looking at nothing at this point, but it could. It is a possibility that if there's an assault weapons ban, that they go backwards. The one in '94 did not. Anything prior to that, of course, that made the value of those rise. So people who owned those things prior to the enactment of the law actually got a value by being able to sell them if they wanted to at a premium.
Well, it's interesting because you just talked about the Senate Democrats who, a lot of them are more moderate and are not on board with President Obama on this
I think
issue.
there's about 5 that are in danger of losing their seat, and this could be enough to carry it for a Republican because of the backing of not gun control.
So do you think that if there is an assault weapons, if the ban on assault weapons is going to happen, will it happen if it's up to Congress, knowing the division that's there right now?
Right now, I don't see it happening in Congress. I do think President Obama has the right to enact. He's the executive branch, so he does have the right to enforce certain laws that are already on the book. He doesn't have the right to create one. So he's within his rights to propose something to Congress, and Congress is free to do nothing, which appears to be what both sides are going to do. But he certainly has the right to do some of the enforcement that he's looking at. He's looking at higher penalties, which is a part of enforcement for people who are gun trafficking. It's totally within his right.
Now, is it true that here in Georgia, since it's a predominantly Republican state, that there are more gun crimes because of that?
It actually, the studies that I've looked at seem to promote the opposite, that places where there are guns more often have less crime. Washington, D.C., with a lot of the bans and stuff they have against the guns, seem to have a lot more crime. New York, some of the same things. So the incidences, like the school shooting, was in a gun-free zone. People who are doing illegal activity with guns tend to prefer to do it in a gun-free zone because there's less chance of, they have control. There's less chance of them having fire returned on them.
Well, it's a very dicey subject, obviously, going to be debated about for a long, long time.
That's
Jay, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. We're going to continue to follow this story as it develops and how it's going to affect you here in Middle Georgia. And as always, if you have a legal question, you can send it to us. Just email itsthelaw@41nbc.com.